control demos. There's another way to do a control of flow if you know the values that you're expecting specifically, and that is the case switch statement. So we're going to have a tiny psychologist here tell us something about our mood. So I've created the whole structure of my program. You know what the scanner does, you know what these two lines do, you know what these two other lines do. Here is a scanner that will actually ask you how are you doing, and it'll ask you to enter 1 for happy, 2 for sad, 3 for other, and it will read that integer into a variable called mood. So now if the mood is 1, we're going to say one thing. If the mood is 2, we're going to say another. If the mood is 3, we're going to say yet another thing. So what we could do is to have we have the integer variable mood, and we're going to have, just like we did in the previous flow control, a response variable. Okay, a response variable for this. Response, it's going to be nothing at this point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the variable mood, basically check for the values of mood. And I will say, in the case mood is 1, colon, then what I will do is response I'll add response, I'll add if the 1 is happy, so I'll say that is excellent. In the case that mood is 2, I will say response, I'll add the 2 is sad, I'll say, excuse me, don't worry, things will get better. And in the case this is 3, which is another output, then response will be something generic like we all feel like that sometimes. Okay? And then those are the cases, right? So, lastly, we're going to print this response. System.out.println response. So let's look at our program. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it works as advertised. So first it's going to ask me, how are you doing? 1 for happy, 2 for sad, 3 for other. So I'm doing sad. It says, don't worry, things will get better. We all feel the same way sometimes. We all feel like that sometimes. That is not exactly what I expected. Let me run it again. How are you doing? I'm doing happy. I'm happy. That's excellent. Don't worry. Things will get better. We all feel like that sometimes. So it's concatenating all of these things. What happens is that it finds the case, for example, that I typed 1. It finds the case for 1. It concatenates, that is excellent. And then it just continues executing the other 2 concatenations. What we need to tell it is that after you execute case 1, for example, break out of the switch command, right? If you want to execute case 2, break out of the switch command. Do not continue to execute anything. And once you finish case 3, there's no need for break because that's the last one. There's nothing underneath that. So we'll compile this and run. How are you doing? Happy, sad, other. Let's say I'm happy. Oh, that's excellent. See? Now response was that's excellent. It went out of the switch and into the system out print line. This is how this works. The other thing is we can have happy, sad, other, and then we can have, say, for example, just anything, right? So happy, sad, and then anything. Instead of case 3, what we can say is that this is going to be, we all feel the same way, we all feel like that sometimes. It's going to be my generic response to anything other than 1 and 2. So what I can type is default. The default case is going to be this, right? So we'll save it, compile it, and run it. And then how are you doing today? 5. We all feel like that sometimes. It went to the default case, right? Run it again. How are you doing today? Sad. Don't worry, things will get better. Okay, so that concludes our demo of the switch case. Can you switch a string, for example? Sorry, can you switch a string if you were just asking how are you doing, a generic thing? You can switch a string variable. Here we're switching an int mood. That's what we're switching. You can switch a string only if your version of Java is 7 or higher. Okay, my version of Java here in this demo is 6, so I cannot do this, but you can also do the exercise of going into doing string mood equals kbd dot next line, and then case happy do something, case sad do something else, etc. You can test that, and then you'll find if you have Java 6 or 7. That's it for the switch statement.